Cool. Let's get this set up. Where we at? Morning, good morning. Cool. About 5 minutes till the open, so we're just chilling here, waiting for that opening bell, of course. We'll kind of run through what we spoke about yesterday. Go to a high time frame quick. So we've just wanted to see continued bullish delivery. We spoke about how we got above this daily fair value gap here. We would want to see if we now wanted to retrace into, right? This is a daily volume imbalance as well. Let me go there. We'll just start on that daily. So as we have now wicked, right? Daily didn't close above that daily fair value gap. I still expect that bullish continuation though. So now we were looking at this daily volume imbalance. We've traded into that on lower time frames, held the bodies, and now we're pushing back up and through consequent encroachment now of this daily fair value gap here. Right, so you see the bodies respecting that. Of course, there's a 4-hour and a 1-hour fair value gap that was aligned with that area. I really like the volume imbalance itself, just because it's a daily level, right? It's going to be a key point. We spoke about how this run lower. We don't really want to try to be shorting in here. Right, in my opinion, this is a trap. Right, so if we're trying to short anything back here, I think we actually get up and through that, attack that buy side, get into, right, yesterday's high. If we kind of look at what's taken place so far, notice how we had yesterday's new day opening gap and now today's overlapping each other. 8:30 also overlapping, right? And now it's also consequent encroachment of the daily fair value gap. So a huge, really key area here, and that's why we see, right, such high consolidation, so much consolidation back and forth taking place between London and heading into New York. At 8:30, we actually get that run lower, so we clear sell stops. We've now accelerated higher. And I would just expect that to continue. We have some equal lows here. Even though we have, right, the idea of wanting to see higher prices, my attention goes to this fair value gap here, and now these set of equal lows. As we leave this daily fair value gap, right, we're doing it with a new fair value gap that may want to hold us if we don't want to clear equal lows first, right? So this is dependent on our 9:30 Judas. Since we already had a pretty aggressive 8:30 with the news, right, kind of accelerating, I'd be surprised to see such an aggressive 9:30 opening. But if we did want to pick up stops prior to accelerating, I'd look for these lows here, returning into these down close candles. All right, if that's not the case, honestly, I think we might just run right at 9:30 after clearing this low, hitting the low of this fair value gap, and now closing back above it. So that's what we're kind of watching here now. "30 seconds, we'll see what we get." All right, we're going to clear some of this over here. Yesterday was nice delivery into buy side, but we'll still look for that to continue. We're going to need to get through this 1-hour fair value gap. As we often said, last 1-hour premium prior to this external range liquidity, right? Last inefficiency. We're going to see hesitation here. Let's go to a 1 minute quick, see how we get or open up. Opening here, as I mentioned, right, this was that sell side. See if we want to attack that low. So those stops. Now we'll wait and see if we get a reaction, right? Leaving, so kind of pushing right through this. If we close underneath, creating that inversion level, then we may want to see if, right, we're going to continue to push lower. So we've now pushed under this, closing underneath, creating that inversion. See if we get a short-term run lower. Into that inversion now. Slight S&T here. NQ ran its highs where ES has failed to, right? So if we look at these set of equal highs here in NQ, we actually ran this high out. So we want to be careful and watch now. If we start holding this as that inversion, right, we have these untouched inefficiencies that was created by this 830 expansion. Here, here, now here. Right, the first thing we would want to do is say that we are going to return into this range. We go low to high. Equilibrium is going to be about here, I'm guessing. So my attention would go to this volume imbalance. I'll pull it up just to be kind of sure and clarify it. So about the midpoint. Yep, so good read there. Midpoint just underneath or just above that volume imbalance. So let's say we want to get a retracement into this range here. I would look for these untapped inefficiencies first off of this inversion. Even though we wanted higher prices, right, we can't force that understanding, force that bias. If we start showing that we want to go lower, we have to follow that there. Ideally, if we're going to come back for these highs, right, we need to get back above this, reclaim this as a bullish, clear these highs, and start pushing higher. Real quickly, just to show you guys what I'm speaking of in NQ, if you guys aren't able to see it yourselves. Right, we create these relative equal highs in NQ, and here at 929, we ran those. Now we have broken structure, right? So this looks like a YouTube model here in NQ, while at the same time in ES, failing to clear that high, instead just holding at the hourly fair value gap instead. Right, notice the candle body's holding that level perfectly. And as we said, we've now accelerated lower through that. As we create this inversion, we have now left behind a 1 minute bearish fair value gap. And now we want to see here, right, what is the reaction that we get as we trade into this consequent encroachment? If we close above this consequent encroachment, more than likely we want to refill the whole fair value gap and maybe retest, right, some of these equal highs quickly. If we can hold that consequent encroachment, higher likelihood that we now go back for this low one more time and continue with that bearish delivery. Obviously for the higher prices, right, like we said, we want to see price kind of push up and through this. So now invert the bearish, reclaim the original bullish that we have traded underneath, and attack right the highs here. For that, we would need this YouTube model to fail. So we'll have the understanding that we just want to see higher prices. So even though this is right that YouTube model, I want to see that kind of give way, which would allow ES to continue the expansion. Go back to ES for now. Nice. So far, playing out as we wanted to see, right? We clear that these relative equal lows with the Judas returning into the inefficiency here. We didn't close above, however, so I would have favored a closure back above this fair value gap. We don't get that yet, so we still need to be somewhat cautious of we've cleared this buy side, so as I said, need to be wary. If we're going to have a situation where we consolidate, because in theory, we've already expanded quite a bit, right? We've created this consolidation, we've run that, we expand into 930. So we may get a situation to where after this expansion, we're followed by more consolidation before we can move again. especially because, as we mentioned, hitting really that last 1 hour inefficiency before the buy side. So ideally, if we can get above this, right, reclaim it, notice how we're struggling to close above this original bullish fair value gap here, right? Failing to close inside of that hourly again, offering a strong resistance there. NQ holding well. Right, so NQ holding its YouTube setup. We'll see if it wants to attack that low. If we start playing around in here, that'll be a good indication of just a high resistance, higher likelihood of consolidation following that expansion. We've already kind of shown it. Right, kind of a mini seek and destroy. Lows, clearing lows, equal highs, running up to clear highs. So now if we come back down for those lows, so far rather boring opening. Not surprising. We have our key areas marked out, so we'll see if we can continue to look for that. Notice how we're really compressing within this original though. Right? Bodies aren't really leaving it. Wicks are, however. Same here, but the bodies themselves are holding inside of this bullish fair value gap. I don't like that we actually got back underneath this consequent encroachment of this bearish fair value gap. Because now that gives us an opportunity to start using this as resistance. Notice how the candle bodies are getting squeezed right in between that. Right in between the actual low of this bullish one and the bearish is where the bodies are holding. Still want to see this give way. Give that short-term low being cleared. Gonna move this for now. We obviously know we're inside of it, but we'll just have this here. 1 hour. Jeez. All right. So being compressed here. Let's see what we get. Volume imbalance, okay, bullish. First one. Let's watch that. See if that can stay open. That'd be nice, especially paired with the bearish fair value gap. Nice. Lovely price action this morning, huh? Early morning. Might wait till 10, of course. Not much going on then. No high impact news remaining. Let's quickly check just what we have. In case we have some, right? Medium impact here at 10 o'clock. Or not, excuse me. Jeez. One had to read. Yeah, okay. So maybe 10 o'clock, right? New home sales. Consolidate until 10. Give us some type of setup at 10. And then we'll look for, right, our setup at that point. Kind of like what took place yesterday, actually. Choppiness prior to the news. Even if it is a medium impact one, that might give us some inclination to start moving. All right, real quick, check out the higher time frames. The hourly is able to close above that daily fair value gap. So to me, right, I would still favor a run higher. Like I mentioned, we have hit that 1 hour premium. We're going to hesitate here regardless, even if we do push through, right? Hesitation, retracement from that area can be expected, which is what we're allowing here. We've actually came back into the 15. Let's see if we break through, right? Through this low, so once again, back into that inefficiency. Notice the candle body. Through this low, I still favor right lows here, this inefficiency. Like if we're going to start moving lower, it would make sense to reach for at least liquidity, interrange, or the inefficiency here. I do like that volume imbalance because it is equilibrium, as we had mentioned. So that is a good objective there on the downside. If we can clear through this low. Because on the same time, NQ still holding that setup, as we had mentioned. So a little cleaner here in NQ, but now we can use NQ's price action to give us an idea of what ES will want to do. Partial city. Hey, that's all right. Partials pay, brother. That's what we say, right? Rather have partials than be stopped out. But no, I feel that. A little choppier market, so got to be a little quicker. Let's see. So, right, we would favor this low here. We ran this low. Oh, we didn't actually. So now we have equal lows there. I like this low, though, for sell side, actually. Sell side here, like this. Got underneath this. We'll see if that's an inversion to send us lower. Or if we get back up and through that, start attacking once again, right? Inefficiencies. Because surprisingly now, like, let's go back. ES failed to run the low here. So we had SMT at the highs, bearish. But now at the lows, seem to be engineering that. Of course, look at, geez, NQ, hideous wicks. Holding the fair value gap, which is nice. So we'll still want to see NQ run lower. Which if it can, we should get another dig lower here in ES. Especially seeing now how we have engineered equal lows at this swing point. So now we have equal lows, an actual low, and now an untapped inefficiency. If we're going to move this far down already, it would just make sense to run into areas like this. NQ is the better short because it cleared buy side. Really personal preference, right? So for me, if you look at here, ES also cleared this buy side, but held that fair value gap. So if you're using the reclaimed fair value gap, but for pure structure sake, yes, NQ was obviously cleaner with the short term or the run on highs, market structure shift, really that clear cut YouTube model there. I went short in ES, however, okay, looking for this liquidity here. Ideally, we get back into the the volume imbalance. But if not, I want to see at least this low get ran out there. Well, I'll partial. All right, so real quick, we'll just kind of share where we are. Pretty much break even, okay? Stop at break even. One tick above, just right above this volume imbalance, right? The candle that creates it here. Wanting to see this inversion hold us, really this fair value gap as well, which is why the stop's up here. If we get all the way back up in there, don't want to be a part of it. To be honest, let's look at this here. This fair value gap like this, we can go right at there. So we'll go break even itself. If we get above this bearish fair value gap, no interest in being in. I want to see these equal lows targeted, but with how price is moving, we may not actually get that. I'll put the partial here, so 5 handle partial. Obviously, we want this liquidity as well, but don't need to be greedy. So we'll partial here at this low, if we can get there. So partials. And then ideally, right, final exits here. So as we said, from this high, here's what we're doing. We take the high to the low, our current dealing range. Equilibrium was right here. Well, now we have that inefficiency, the volume imbalance below equilibrium. So if we want to return into equilibrium, more than likely we tap that volume imbalance as well, which is why we are okay leaving that there. So we have it set at the top of the volume imbalance, right there, 49.07 and a half. So first partial is 6 handles, and then final TP will be about 7 or 8 if we can get there. So far, holding that inversion nicely. Right, ugly delivery, but we have to trust it. Commit to it. Candle bodies themselves. So as long as the candle bodies hold that, I'm fine. NQ ran its low now, so we may have caught up. But these equal lows here, just want one quick stab on those. If we get stopped out, we'll look for another opportunity. And I went short all in here, right? Just so if you guys are wondering. Shorts all throughout in here. That right there is not a good sign whatsoever. So volume imbalance above, right? Our current volume imbalance. We'll give it that one candle's opportunity. I want to see that close. If that doesn't close, we'll probably close 2 here early. Because yeah, overtaking that, especially even those equal lows, just ugly. Could have went with the 5 handle partial. That's all right though. Yeah, looking more bullish now. Don't like how we overtake that. We'll look quickly at like a 2. We're inside of a 2-minute fair value gap. No, we're going to run for stop there. So stop more than likely coming. We'll see if this fair value gap can't offer us some type of resistance. But now, right, we've created that watch here. If we even wick this, I'll need to see this candle completely push through. Because if now we find support here, especially with this inversion volume imbalance and the bullish volume imbalance now, okay? A lot of discounts, which is why we're saying this entry not looking too well. As we said, break even, so we don't really care if we're getting stopped here. We'll go right here just to cover cost. Right, we see how we're holding there. So more than likely we actually get stopped. Not much to do there. Right, we create them equal lows. We try to get that exit here at this low instead. Create perfect equal lows. And we get stopped at break even. So we're content with that. Right, just choppy delivery. Objectives were fine. Liquidity was a good target, but instead of running through it, we just create another equal low. So now at this point, right, we can actually, I still want to see higher prices. So we were counter trend trading here inside this bearish fair value gap to get short into liquidity, fall short of the liquidity, instead finding support here now. I want to see what we do here. If we leave this bullish fair value gap open, that'll be an opportunity. Yeah, and Q is a mess too. Messy all around so far. Those equal lows. Unfortunate we had those equal lows. So now I'm watching here. Watch this bullish fair value gap, okay? We've overtaken this bearish. We now have the bullish aligned with it. So now I'm watching, right, really these two PD arrays. So I'm watching the inversion paired with the bullish, and I'm watching this original bearish here that has held us consistently. If we can close above that now, I really do think we come back for highs here, 1 hour fair value gap. Seeing as how it's offered us such strong resistance. So if we can start really continuing this bullish delivery, right, starting from really this low, even though we have equal lows here, we don't necessarily want to start forcing the biases, saying, oh, well, these equal lows must be taken, right? So we have to short, short, short. We did clear a short-term low here. No, those are equal lows are unfavorable. Right, price action right now is showing that it wants to respect the discounts. So as we said, we held that inversion, we held the bullish. We came into, right here, notice we came into that inversion now. So I want to see if we push up and through this fair value gap. If not, we may be able to continue lower. All right, back to ugliness. Leaving, as I look at this, as we leave that daily fair value gap, that's why I really like this area. Because it's the daily fair value gap, it's an inversion level, it's an inversion volume imbalance, and it is a bullish fair value gap. Okay. So as we said, we like to kind of stack confluences, stack PD arrays. And to me, that's showing rather bullish delivery. We've now gotten above that, okay. See if we want to tap and go here. Hitting the high of it, see if we can expand through it now. Heading into 10 o'clock. So the first half hour is about to play out for us. We might even leave a fair value gap there. Oh, no fair value gap, okay. So still holding the 1 hour. We did get into that 1 hour. I would have preferred that the actual, let me get this exact, just to be sure. Okay, so I prefer that this consequent encroachment holds us since we got above the inversion. Right, as I say, if we keep playing around, that's a good indication that we're just not in that bullish, low resistance delivery conditions that we would want to see. Right, clearing an inversion like this, especially one that had offered us so much resistance in the past, should allow price to expand. Instead, we smack again into this 1 hour fair value gap. You could see the struggle. Right, price really doesn't want to get through that. and Q broke a low again. So right now we have a huge disparity between the two. Rather interesting there. Yeah, and Q running lower. ES still holding, so yeah, pretty ugly delivery here to be honest. Mm-mm. Well, yeah, neither of them have cleared their 830 low. That's quite a distance away. And Q would have a higher likelihood of getting there if we wanted to run for it, though, for sure. Yeah, huge disparity, though. Right, let's look at that. Look at NQ, just melting. ES here, not even near the equal lows at all. So either one of two things, right? This is gonna be run on stops. NQ reverses to clear now all of the SPY side left behind. Really starting from this. This will be a good indication. If we get up through that, I think we can come for a high. But if we just keep melting lower in NQ, ES will probably follow shortly. Let's see here. So back inside the inversion still, right, bouncing off the daily. We can still really hold this area. This is now offering us resistance once again, however. I will show you quickly on a 5 minute. On a 5 minute chart, really not too much to look at here. That 1 hour still holding us pretty strong with the resistance. We've now dipped into, never get into the 5 minute fair value gap here. Instead, we have a 5 minute volume imbalance. After running this low, right, candle bodies never close underneath this low. So at this point, we just wait and see. Ten o'clock. See if we get some movement here. Volume balance tap. So still into the consolidation. You can really see, right, get compressed really between the high time frame discounts or premium and discount. The daily fair value gap, the 1 hour premium fair value gap. Even though we're moving back and forth, we're really just stuck in between those two. Still there, an NQ. All right, holding consequent encroachment. See if it continues the bearish delivery. So there's a low. See if we continue with the push. Nice. We should be able to run. So we're here real quick, right? I went with NQ instead. I'm going to partial out at 8:30. So there's one. We buy back. Go break even now. 2. So quick scalp here in NQ. Right, just cleaner as far as bearish delivery goes. Right, you guys have seen, what was ES? Wait, they're both NQ. Or NQ. Wait, what the? How do I get this off the thing? Oh, wait. Apply these indicators to entire layout. I guess I don't know how to work TradingView. I lied. We'll go here. Or maybe if I just switch it to ES. Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. Obviously, right? ES is stuck in this range here, whereas NQ is kind of allowed to move more freely. Oh, that's fine with us. So once again, another break even. This time we secured a partial. Right, added 2 inside that fair value gap, partialing here at this low. Really at the 8:30, right? It's paired with this volume imbalance. That's what we actually trade into. So we go from fair value gap into really the 8:30 level, and then we get stopped to break even. So once again, right, we're content. Profits secured this time. We like that over 5 handles prior to the break even. Tough price action, but it's all right. Back to the 2. That's hideous here. NQ looking bearish though. It looks like it wants to go for these lows. So we overtake that. Looking at NQ, honestly, geez. ES is just kind of shit in the bed this morning. This actually down close candle right here makes my... So with where we are now, NQ has bounced off the 830. ES obviously just being compressed, right? We're right at that area. I like that. Highs. Okay. I mean, I still favor right buy side. There's too much buy side here. Same in NQ, right? We don't trade trend lines, trend line liquidity. All these highs I want to see get cleared here in NQ, which should allow ES to actually get through, right? I still want to see consequent encroachment. I want to see these highs. I want to see the actual high, like this. Let's go back to ES here. Yeah, okay. Third time we've gotten above this fair value gap. In my opinion, especially after this run lower into here, discount, if we're going to close above this, especially with the time, right, 10:10, we're heading into really power hour, or the silver bullet, excuse me, we should just push into that buy side. Buy side, buy side, buy side. Nice. I like that we actually close on it. Alexa, shut up, bro. Make sure your speaker oh my. Connected and try again. Sorry about that. But I like the idea that if this volume imbalance can stay open, we actually expand. Was NQ, right? NQ, so once again, NQ failed to get to its high. ES has already gotten to its high. NQ has failed to get to any buy side, to be honest. So what I would want to see is actually NQ continue to run, which lets ES actually get above the 1 hour fair value gap. And now we look for continuation, basically higher than that. Right, I got in on ES again. Once we proved we want to get going higher. But I need to, we might not get to my 5 handle objective. Oh, we already did. We're moving a little bit quicker than I'm used to. With the larger ranges. Hey, fine with that. Okay, so we're here again now in EQ. Or EQ. What the? Mix both of them up. What you know about that? But we're in here again in ES. I'm still looking for... We should have partial at 5. With how prices moving, we'll actually do that. We'll do 5. Wouldn't want to see less than this, even though we have this, especially because we hit that consequent encroachment. We're probably going to run there. We're going to go here. Wouldn't really want to see less than consequent encroachment of this, even though there's a fair value gap here, which is why the stop is once again break even. So if we get stopped here, another break even. Like no partial here. Should have actually partialed at 5. We'll see if we can get back up in there. Give us a chance. We'll actually partial right at consequent encroachment. With the full, I'd like to take the full at the up here. So far, body's holding nice. We close back above. I like that. Want this to now hold us. Don't want to see this low be violated. Not even consequent encroachment of the wick, to be honest. Wouldn't want to see much lower than that. All right. Well, at this point, we're waiting. Mm-hmm. 2 ticks short. I'd be weak if we get tagged again. Just break evens. Hey, like you said, brisk. Break even city out here. We'll get a partial though. Hmm. 1 tick again away. Hey, playing with us. If it wants to get there, it'll get there though. No need in feeling any type of way over it. We either get there, partial out, or we get stopped to break even again. Rather simple, right? Regardless, no risk in the marketplace, so we are proud. Don't want to get back above this here. That's what we're struggling with, this buy side. Right? And this inversion volume imbalance that we've created like this. Wick's fine. We're not nervous of the wicks. As we said, didn't want to see less than consequent encroachment of this wick, and that's what we've hit. So now actually I'm fine putting my stop under this wick because we've returned into the lowest point I would want to see, and now we've closed back above this fair value gap. So to me, right, I really wouldn't want to see less than this candle, but we'll leave the stop here in profit. As we said, no risk in the marketplace. Should be able to partial out. If we do partial out, stop will get moved even higher to the actual candle that tapped into consequent encroachment, right? Because that's kind of where the second entry was. So there is now partial. Once again, stop moved. Modify to 2 So once again, we're either break even or we are fully TP'd at the high of the 1 hour fair value gap. And from here, we just wait now. Notice how we're still refusing to actually close above this old buy side liquidity. Right, that's important to note. We've done it once, but now we completely invert that. So with that one candle opportunity that we often speak of, we create the volume imbalance, but the very next candle negates it. Right, trading back underneath it, creating it as an inversion. Ever since then now, struggling to get above that level, but still holding the actual bullish fair value gap here. So once again, just right choppy delivery, kind of in here is a fractalized delivery of what's already taking place here. Right, like if I went to, because we have that tiny time frames, if I went to like a 15-second, right, back and forth, in a range of liquidity being ran to break structure again. Really the same here, right, back and forth, running into range liquidity here to then break structure higher, retracing again before running. So let's say that we're engineering the same type of delivery, right? We still will see higher prices, but it will be a choppy delivery. My stop right now is under this low because this is the intermediate swing point in this current really fractalized consolidation, right? Even though this is the external range, the lowest low, we created equal lows. We ran those lows with this low here and then ran this high. However, we then run a low again. And then after running this low, we actually break structure at this high. So the difference is, right, notice that when we ran this high the first time, no candle was closing above this swing point. We moved the volume imbalance. But no candle closes above the swing point. We then hold that, clear this, short-term low cleared. And now, after clearing the short-term low, we run this high. But it's different because, right, this candle actually closes above. So to me, that right there is now the shift in structure. Whereas in here, no closure. Here, true closure, leaving the OB. Perfect delivery into fair value gap paired with OB. Acceleration through. Discounts now holding. 15-second time frame. You see how we can even follow this. Acceleration through. Final TP should be met. I kind of want to, we may keep running. Do I leave a runner? We'll leave one runner on. So we're going to go like this for now. We'll kind of readjust where we want to put that, but sell. Okay, cool. So there we go. So now we are basically fully partial out at the high. Let's see if we catch that swing high. We need to adjust this to be 1. I just want to catch that swing point at that high there. Oh, didn't get it. Ah, that's all right. Oh, well. Okay, let's see where we could go. Go back to a 15 quick. Okay, I like this area actually. So right, we spoke about 1 hour last premium. I think we get above that. So now I go back to a 15 chart. Well, last 15-minute inefficiency is here. Boom. That's final exit. 5-minute chart. Last 5 minute. Oh, we might go. No, you know what? Price is obviously bullish. We'll go in here. If it wants to run, we'll let it run. So what I'll actually do is I want this high. That's what I want. So because I only have one contract left, we use the stop loss as the partialing mechanism, okay? Which means once we get into this 15-minute fair value gap here, because I want this high, a little ambitious, that's fine. If we don't get there, right, we've already secured most of the position. This is literally just candy on top. So I'm fine, right, not having that target be met if that's the case. But as we mentioned, we'll use the stop loss as our really partialing mechanism. So now for me, stop is underneath. Notice that in point and volume imbalance, never coming back down into this. However, if we're being completely honest, I'm looking at this wick. I don't want to see much lower than this wick that was passed through with this fair value gap, which means that this should stay open, which means I can actually go like this. So I'm fine going right here. So I would favor that this actually stays open. The real question is, with one contract, do I need to be that tight? No. So I favor it stays open. I'm allowing it to be traded into in case I'm wrong. But if we do continue to push, right, if we're very bullish, we should leave that open instead, working really with the most recent fair value gap here. And in my opinion, really not much lower than the high of this wick, but we'll see. I would see this as a balanced price range in a way. Right, from this high really to this low, back and forth, no inefficiencies. We get above the high, give a retracement into now this inefficiency. And as we run through this high, right, a lot of back and forth. So we push up through that high with the fair value gap in my mind, creating that balanced range, which is why I wouldn't want to see less than that, to be honest. But let's see what we get. I almost want to re-add one here, to be honest. But we'll leave it. We'll leave it. So there's the return into it. Love you, honey. Did I miss my entry? Wow. Beautiful so far, right? So we should see, honestly, now this expand. Don't want to see price revisiting this multiple times. Or rather have a tap and go. As we said, didn't want to see much lower than this wick. Here. Wicking it is fine. Bodies, notice the body doesn't even get near the actual 1 hour. That is favorable. If we can keep the bodies away from that, we can keep wicking, so we need to wait for the close, but should be good now. Do we add there? Should have added. No need though. Because if we're going to look at this, let me real quick, 15-minute sell. Ugly buy model here potentially, which means that the old premiums turn into discounts. So you could almost just use that whole 1 hour fair value gap, to be honest, into the daily high. But I don't think we even get into like that. We'll tape read that there. We're not going to stack. Thought about stacking, but we'll just let it run. Already secured plenty this morning. So as I said, right, using now the stop as my partialing, I would usually partial at this high. So if we clear this high, stop will get moved now to the most recent swing point underneath. Right, so technically this swing point, if this one holds. If we run that and then run higher, whatever swing gets created in here will be the new stop loss location. Of course, if we're wrong on our bias, we just get stopped out as price retraces into this range. But I like the idea of holding, right? If we are bullish, we are coming up on 10:30, so the opening range is about to be put into place, okay? 9:30 to 10:30. Lowest low here, highest high here. So it may be a scenario where we actually wait until 10:30 to run that high out. So let's see if these next 2 minutes we kind of play around here. After 10:30, acceleration into the high, into the 5 minute here, ultimately into sell side, or buy side, excuse me. This was the 15. Nope, not the 5. 15. All right. So now we got the plan set up. Should be good. So that's short term low, market structure shift, fair value gap, bam. Notice the wick, right? Nothing under the wick. We're balanced there. We shouldn't close underneath that wick. We can wick it all we want, but we could wick the wick, but should not close beneath the wick. $10.30 now. So now I would look for this high here to be traded up and through. That's our new buy side. We want to see price expand into that. We're holding, right, this 1 hour nicely. I mean, beautifully. We're holding the 1 minute nicely, right? We like to see the bodies hold this wick, right? We're wicking into it. That's fine. We're still holding that. Let's see if we can now accelerate. Tapping it one more time. NQ has ran its high. So I have NQ up on another screen, of course. NQ is running its high, which, I guess not best case scenario. Let me show you. NQ obviously bullish ever from here. Right, nice bullish opportunities. Oh, excuse me. But now we've actually ran this high here in NQ. Whereas in ES, right, still about 2 handles away from it. If NQ wants to continue, though, favor that buy side. So to me, still bullish, still favor buy side activity. Run on liquidity, holding lowest discount. Low, high, low, low, broken, low. Okay. Kind of like we talked about yesterday, right? Breaker into mitigation block here. So they're looking for that continued bullishness. I'm going low to this high. Equal lows broken above here, closed. Highest up close candle becomes breaker. even though this candle is a higher wick, right, we take the highest up close. That's what's important. This is the candle with the highest up close. So I'm taking that, we drag that out, lo and behold, look at how it aligns with the 1 minute fair value gap perfectly. We wick into that, and then we break structure there. So now forming, right, the low, high, higher low, breaking that. So to me, we are into that. Okay. As we said, I'm allowing this here. That's really last line of defense because it's an untapped volume imbalance, a little more sensitive, right? This candle never makes an opportunity to come back into this candle's close. We usually would see a wick there, like this kind of. Instead, nothing, especially with it being consequent encroachment of the hourly as well, right? We can easily trade into that, find support there, and continue with our bullish delivery. So I don't want to be premature in the exit. If we clear that, however, right, start kind of closing below that, that's when we'll be okay being out. And at that point, we'll probably just wrap it up, right? 10:30. I'm usually done by 11, but after this point, I won't really have anything else to be looking for. So there is, okay, cool. So there's the stop out. Fine with us, right? We kind of expected that after seeing what NQ did here. So NQ ran that high as we said. ES, on the other hand, failed to. Closing underneath this wick was an indication we are going to run lower. And look at this, right? This is how you can kind of figure out, before we even create this inversion, you can use other PD arrays to give you the understanding. Whereas when this candle closes underneath this wick, we already expect that now we're going to continue to run lower because that is our balance range and we shouldn't return really below that. We close below it, we immediately use it as resistance to now send us into, right, the low of that 1 hour. So overall, still clean delivery, right? Never surprised at what's taking place. Simply went against us. That's fine. Cool. All right. But yeah, we will go ahead and actually wrap it up there this morning. As long as there's no questions. I guess I haven't even read chat, to be honest. It's a little different than Discord. The chat's kind of hidden. No? Okay. Yeah, appreciate y'all sitting in. Early adopters, yeah. I think I might start doing some more live streams here on YouTube, so we'll see if we can't grow the community a bit. Just real quick, where can we go now? Let's go back to a higher time frame. Let me clear all this, a little easier to see. Low resistance liquidity run here. Probably for these equal lows, to be honest. We might do that. Watch here. You're watching here and here. These are the two important areas. Through this fair value gap, we get into this low, this low. More than likely this low as well. And it may be delivery where we don't give a retracement either. So we're watching that, right? In this type of delivery, we don't get retracements. So I do want to see is if we create some type of volume imbalance, I just want to watch for that volume imbalance entry quick. Let's see. Nope. We'll probably just run. So closing underneath, we're going to run right for this low. We're not even going to retrace into this. Giving nobody an opportunity, okay? People that were long here, that had stops here, 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 here. That's what this move is. No hesitation, right? Low resistance, cutting right through all of the buy side liquidity, or sell side liquidity, excuse me, that was formed. Right? Cutting right through inefficiencies, cutting right through volume imbalances. That's a good indication that order flow has now switched, bearish. And to be honest, I kind of want to see it. We'll look at something like this here. Right, just a tape read. Inversion play into equal lows, potentially. And then we'll see. If that doesn't play out, then we'll kind of wrap it up. Consequent encroachment. So that'll be interesting to see what we do from consequent encroachment. Did we clear? So we cleared this low as we said, right? Under this, we cleared this low for sure, which we did. In a rather choppy market like this, we've often seen, right, external range liquidity is the high resistance. This is external range. Really, this is here. But for the equal lows, this is external range. So we've cleared internal range. Just seeing though if we want to hold that 1 minute. Retaking that volume imbalance makes me think we want to go back above. Holding it too, especially. That's as we saw. If we were looking for shorts in here, wouldn't want to see higher than this candle. But now we're starting to hold this original volume imbalance. So we get under it, but then immediately, as we spoke about, very next candle retakes that, right? The one candle's opportunity. We retake that. Now we're in between the bearish fair value gap and this. But the fact that we're holding this volume imbalance makes me think that we actually want to resume at least into this range a little bit. Which has me, right, as I kind of look at that, my attention immediately goes to this fair value gap here that is aligned with the old buy side liquidity. Old pool of liquidity with an inefficiency. If we get above this anyways, right? So far, we're still holding that. Holding the inversion. Candle bodies are important. We wick higher than it, but no candle bodies have gotten above consequent encroachment. So as long as we can hold that and closing back below, nice. Okay. So in my opinion, resuming that bearish activity, wicking into that fair value gap and holding it nicely, closing underneath, back underneath the volume imbalance. Relative equal lows here, paired with equal lows there. That's my objective. Don't want to see us get back above that. Don't like that, especially with the bullish. Give the one candle's opportunity. Want this to close back in if we're going to be short here. Right, this high gets traded through, more than likely we go for here. Okay, so we actually close it in, not the way I would like, however. We close right on the open, so it's still there, hidden. Right, that volume imbalance goes from here to here now. Hidden volume imbalance. If this candle still can use that as support now because we weren't able to fully close within that, holding this. I do have one short, right? Just one contract, so went short on this inversion. Stop is above this high. If we get stopped, we'll be done for the day. Just something light. All right, we'll share that, I guess. So this will be kind of our last for the day. So I want to buy there. 5 handles. Actually got in on the volume imbalance. So as we close underneath, right, I'm entering on this candle in the volume imbalance. Stop above that high. At this point, it stops here, and we're stopped. Cool. All right. That's fine with us. So that'll be it for us today on ES. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Right, quick recap. We tried to get short early inside the fair value gap here, right? Was adding throughout, adding here, adding as we hit the high. When we close back underneath and this candle comes back into it, I'm adding again. And we were targeting this low. Instead, we create equal lows. We get stopped at break even here, as you saw. But when we get stopped at break even, we now engineer bullish structure. So as we trade into, right, that fair value gap, I'm adding. As price closes above this candle, this fair value gap here that we used to get short, I'm now using that as well. So as we come into consequent encroachment, I'm adding again. Right, we get a little deeper retracement. Ultimately, we get up and through our buy side. As you saw, first partial came for us here, really at 5 handles. Second partial came all the way at the high. And then ultimately, we get stopped out in profit with that last runner. So we wanted to see potentially maybe if we wanted to get a daily high, a little ambitious, of course, which is why it was just one left on to run. Most of the position was secured here with this exit. As you saw, I then tried to just go short quickly, right? If we were going to kind of create a low resistance liquidity run into this sell side, the equal lows, this area would have held us. Ends up not holding, and we're fine with that. Not one contract, so really nothing of a loss there. But yeah, with that, that'll wrap up our day here in ES. We will be back tomorrow. Let me check. I think we'll have another YouTube one, to be honest. High impact news, or actually we have a template. Let's check. So news for tomorrow, we have 8:30 and 10 o'clock. Okay. So we won't really do anything with that 8:30. We'll be back at the same time that we were today, 9:25, just before equities open. And we'll see what we get. Last day of the week. Let me kind of run through a expectation, however. Higher time frame wise, just to give us some understanding. Hide everything. So far, bullish still really playing out, right? Holding that 4 hour. We're above this 4 hour, so that's a 4 hour inversion. As you saw, we're holding that daily fair value gap. Let me kind of clear all the stuff that we were using today. Clear all this. Oh. So I really still do have this as the sell side. This is that volume imbalance, right? Of course, this is the daily level, but if we get there, that's fine. We'll look for that. If not, I want to at least see this inter-range cleared. Okay, so this is the external range low. I don't think we get there, to be honest. If we got all the way to this low, the idea of running higher, in my mind, would be invalidated for the short term. Right, because now this is a wick that returns into, it clears lots of liquidity. It's returning into a daily volume imbalance. It's holding the midnight level, and it's given us huge displacement now out of the daily fair value gap. So if anything, the lowest I would want to see would really be this down close candle, right? So we have a 1 hour fair value gap here. I'm going to label that out. 1 hour. Go to a 15 quickly. Beautiful, right? So notice the 1 hour fair value gap is perfectly sitting where those lows are. So I like that a lot. Yeah, okay. So to me, this is kind of what I would expect. A return into this sell side, right? The 1 hour fair value gap inefficiency has yet to be touched, and now we have equal lows sitting right there. So we'll have liquidity to pick up as we return into an inefficiency. Notice that the consequent encroachment of the 1 hour is the volume imbalance as well on the 1 minute chart. So I would favor a run lower first. We've cleared a lot of buy side here with this run. So I would like to see now this sell side be cleared, returning into this discount, giving us an opportunity to go long in here, right? Really any type of structure. It could be a breaker, order block, fair value gap, doesn't matter. But some type of longing opportunity to now get us into previous day high and ultimately, right, daily buy side objectives. So yeah, that is the kind of the outlook going forward. We'll leave y'all with that. Until tomorrow, have a good day, everybody, and we will talk tomorrow morning. Take care. See you guys.